You can see here 34.1% into green blue Luffy. Welcome back, crew. Today we have more Blackbeard, and before we jump into any games, which we do have 2 lined up, I want to talk about basically where Blackbeard is in the meta, and I want to go through some of the lists that are being run with Blackbeard and make some corrections to my own list. Now, today's game I will be using a top tier deck from the sim just to try that out, get a feel for other ways that Blackbeard's being played, so I can readapt my deck list. So the deck list for today is very different, and yeah, we'll just give it a shot and see how it goes. Now, before we jump into anything else, what I want to talk about here is some of our matchups. And as you can sort of see from here, we have basically our overall win rate 51.4%. So, you know, pretty good. We are in the top 4. So, well, top 3 realistically, but I'd put us in the top 4. I mean, it's so close to each other that they could be considered the same. But I do really think that Enel, Nami, Teach, and the green blue Luffy are the top contenders of this meta. In terms of our matchups, we can see here, these are all the Teach matchups and our win rate into them. So, you know, you can see here 34.1% into green blue Luffy, 34.4% into the Yamato here. So Yamato isn't quite on the list, but you know, it is a strong deck. So where else do we have Nami? Let's have a look at Nami. We'll scroll across until we see her. We're also looking for Enel. Enel, we have a really good win rate into 66.5%. And where's Nami here? Did I scan past her? Perhaps I'm going too quick. But what I have done actually is I've actually gone through all of this data and I've input it. Now, it might be slightly different to what we're seeing on screen because I'm doing this a day after I've input it. But here we go. I've put it all into an Excel sheet. And so in this Excel sheet, we can see I've basically filtered it out so we can see our worst matchups and our best matchups. So right here we have basically, I like to look at it sort of in that 45 to 55% range, right? So we've got the decks here, Zoro and Sanji, all the way up to Emu. These decks here, so the thing about this is when we go second, we have a really good game. When we go first, our opponent has a really good game. So I think this is very key for this data. If we go second, we're more likely to lose. And if you take a percentage like this, right? Let's say we go second and we win 80% of the time. If we go first and we win, say, let's go for 30% of the time, right? We add those two together, 80 and 30 is 110, divided by 2, because we've got 200% here. Divided by 2, we've got 55. It would give us roughly a 55% win rate. That is if we're winning 80% going first and 30% going second. And this sort of feels like where Teach is at the moment. Obviously not quite as good into some, and that's why we're only at 51%. But given this data, if we're going below, say, a 45% win rate, it means we're probably losing whether we're going first or second. Like, it's not a preferred matchup for us. I think when we're between the 45 to 55% win rate, I think then it's very dependent on us going second to win that. This is just a general rule of thumb, right? It's not necessarily true, but generally speaking, I think the ones between here, Im to Zoro and Sanji, I think we want to go second to win that. Then when we're going above 55% win rate, I think we still have a good chance even if we go first. But ideally, I think we still want to go second. And you know, there's a lot of decks here. Some of these decks we don't have a lot of game data on them, but most of them we have enough data that this is all significant, right? So let's talk about some of these decks here. these are the tricky ones. The under 45s. We have the blue buggy from OP09 is our worst matchup. UG Luffy is our next worst. This is one of our worst ones. Then into Yamato, Sengoku, the new Sengoku, Lucy, very hard and still very relevant, still in the meta. Crocodile, we don't see as much Crocodile these days, but I think this is one where, you know, you're so close to 45, maybe it is going second works, but they still have a good chance to beat you even if you do go second. Same with Calgara, GP Luffy, doing well there too, and Vivi. So I think they're the harder matchups, right? These aren't all aggressive decks either, so very, very interesting there. I think part of the reason why these can do well is they have effects on their turn, not your turn. And we shut these decks down on, like our Tengos Teach does really well. The Teach shuts down their leader on our turn. These leaders like to do their effect on their turn. So unless you're using something like the Black Vortex, you're not able to shut them down, right? I think the Black Vortex is something that's going to assist you into these matchups. Whether you want to tech in for that, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to bring you the data here so you guys can work with it how you want. Now, let's just jump back into actually the sim data because I do want to talk more about that. All right, I want to talk about some of the deck lists that we've got here, and I will cut to the deck that I'm going to run in the video today. The deck list has changed slightly since yesterday or 2 days ago when I started using one of these decks, and I've put a lot of games into it, so I've got a good understanding of how it plays differently to my deck, which is really cool. But we need to talk about some things here. First up, I have been a strong advocate of not using full OLED, and I'm not here to say I'm right about everything. I'm here to bring you guys the facts to improve your gameplay as much as we can. My gameplay as well, trying to improve everyone's gameplay here on the channel. It looks as though full OLED is necessary, and after playing it, I've even played it with my own list. After playing it, I do think it's necessary. I do want to say I still am firm that Lafitte is a very strong card, and the deck list that I'm going to use today, it doesn't run Lafitte. And I really noticed it. I really noticed how hard that deficit is. There's just not enough searching happening. That said, full OLED is really, really strong. I think a combination of the two is what's necessary. Now, the deck list that I chose, it isn't in this list right here. I will find it for you in just a sec. But the deck list that I've got, it was basically at 64%. It was around that 64%. 66 was the highest at the time, but it had so many games into it that I thought the consistency is there, that it's proving itself. Now, let me find the list for you. Right, so this list here looks closest to what I was using. It has dropped down a little bit, 57.3%, but the games are there. This is the important point here. The games are there. So in terms of this list, not running any Lafitte, they've got 4 of the full OLED, 3 of the My Age, and I just don't think that's enough. I think we need at least 8. I feel like we need 10 to 12 searches in our deck. That's where I'm currently at. Get the consistency. Consistency is key. If you want a strong meta contender, you need to have consistency in the deck. We do have a lot of cycle, which helps, but when we need to hit something on that, second turn, drop a 4 cost, make sure it lands, we need to have everything in place. We can't be waiting until, we're redirecting into one of these guys on that second turn to hope that one cycle is the card we need. We need a lot more consistency than that. So I was noticing not having the consistency with these searches. There's so many games that I've had where I haven't found it, and then I'm working really hard within the game, playing things not where I want on the curve, and it makes it a lot harder. So that is one downfall for the deck. The deck was a lot stronger with its win rate before I started using it. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't think this is me. I think this is just the nature of the deck that, yeah, realistically, it doesn't have enough searches. There are some strong points going for it. So I want to talk about everything in this deck first, and then I want to talk about some of the tech cards we can see in other lists, right? They're running Burgess. Burgess is a strong card. I also underestimated this. If we are running the Fuller Lead and we're running My Age, we can get things to the trash quite quickly. It's quite easy to get this thing up to, between an 8 or 9k body on the field, and it isn't removable. So I mean, blue can bounce it, but other than that, the KO is not happening. This does give us general defense against other decks, and if it's to be rested and it becomes an 8k, very hard for someone to attack into it as well, particularly when we can redirect. So it is a very sticky body which can do a lot of work if you get it down. I think this is a very strong play. Playing this or a Katarina on the second turn with your 4 Don, really, really strong presence on the board from there on. Katarina is very easy to remove, Burgess is not. Other cards that they've got, so they've reduced down the Dot Q, which is a 2k body, and they've got the Baby 5. I don't disagree with this. The Baby 5 is a 2k counter, but it is a better trigger. So it isn't a Blackbeard that you can redirect into, but it is a trigger, and we can always get these Blackbeards back out using the Katarina effect or using the Shiryu. There's lots of ways we can get these out. So I think I like this idea here. They've got a lot more Vasco shot than the other Blackbeard types, and I think that's just, it has a greater range at which it can hit, so it's a lot more versatile in the meta. Katarina as a 4-of, I strongly agree with this. This is such a powerful card. It is great in the mirror as well. Load these up onto the field and you've got 12k attackers. Really, really strong. This one is a 3-of, I'm not sure about. I feel like Wolf is undervalued or underutilized in the current meta, but that said, he's got his place, he's doing his job. I'll leave that be. Borsalino is another thing I've been wrong about. I mean, I wasn't entirely wrong. I just didn't want to play him because he's expensive, but he's basically in every deck list, right? Not in this one, but most of the decks above 60%, I think there was only one that didn't run him. He's very strong. He's very strong. I'll talk about him in just a sec. The most strongest one I want to talk about is his Wiper. And Wiper does what his name implies. He wipes the board. Such a strong play. So I was really disappointed. I thought I found something cool with the Nummy, and that's another thing. None of these lists are playing the Nummy, which I think there's a place for Nummy. But I was thinking of the Nummy at the start. I'm like, wow, this could be really powerful, but they both need the same effect, so it won't work. But Wiper alone is really strong. 5 cost, 6,000 power. On play, you may turn one card from the top of your life face up. Give all of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for the turn. That alone is very strong, because where it's hard to hit into the field, this now makes them really weak and you can attack into them. Very, very powerful. But it also has KO all of your opponent's characters with 0,000 power or less. This thing is a powerhouse. It just annihilates the green-blue Luffy. I've done games with it where it's wiped out 3 from the board. You can easily get 2 from the green-blue Luffy, and that saves you not only another turn that you can progress forwards, but it really hits them with their rebuild, that you're not losing the life, that you don't have the pressure, and all of a sudden you're able to hit back and keep the momentum going in your favor. So this is a very, very strong card. Also good into Purple NL, but we've already got a good win rate into Purple NL, so that's not really necessary there. But if there's other aggressive decks, this card wipes out aggressive decks. Really, really strong. I recommend you get a playset. They're so cheap right now. This if it's not in your deck right now, I think it should be. But if it's not in your deck right now, there will be a time where it will be. So make sure you got this card. The other thing I wanted to try with this list is the boa. I was watching the French regionals recently and seeing how this one can come in real clutch at the end. There's so many times where you're like, well, it would be great if I could take one of the life to progress forward as well as heal my own. And we can do that if we play down a Zihaha into the 8 cost. It's basically using 2 cards in one. Really strong. The other thing about it is it's basically it'll frighten me. It's got the trigger effect, it'll frighten me, really, really strong. So I do like this card. I'm still not convinced that I want it in my deck. I feel like It'll Frighten Me has a bit more of a use case into things like Yamato, but I think then it comes into the conversation, do you want to play the meta? If you want to play the meta, what we do is we can do one or two things. We can reduce our win rate into decks that we already do well into to increase our win rate into the ones that we don't, or we can do what we do well, forget about our wins into Yamato, forget about our wins into Green Blue Luffy, and just make sure that we win the other ones. And if that's the case, then we don't run It'll Frighten Me. If we do want to diversify a little bit, run It'll Frighten Me over this. That's sort of where I sit on the two. Alright, some other key mentions we should talk about here. Let me just scroll through. Okay, we got Shiryu here. Shiryu is another really good one. Shiryu, he allows us to hit into 4 cost, base cost bodies like the Reiju, like the Kinemon. So those trigger ones that we have difficulty getting into, this one can fix that problem. I didn't want to run this. I like that it's got blocker. I don't like that it doesn't have trigger. But what I do like is, why I'm not running it is because I can use the teach here instead. Basically can target those things. I mean, it's less reliable, but if I can get one of these to the top of the life, then I can just trigger it out and take out one of those hard bodies anyway. I'm not too concerned about the Reiju because we're still winning into that matchup anyway. And the other thing that we can do is we can use our 10 cost teach effect to negate one of their bodies and hit into it anyway. So if it is getting a bit too troublesome, we have other ways around it, not using this card. That said, it is a blocker. It's doing what it does very well. So I can't hate on anyone for playing 2 of these. I think it is a good card. All right, coming back to Borsalino. So as you can see, almost every, I say every list and then we go to the next one, it doesn't have it. But so many of the lists are running the Borsalino here. I think it is a very key card. And something that is pretty cool is you can have a turn where, let's say you go into Green Blue Luffy. You got 10 on, you play down a wiper, you wipe down their field, you play this down, you heal back 1, you gain a blocker, you've all of a sudden turned the sway of the game, which you can now defend, right? And then you're going into the next turn, you've got extra bodies, you could potentially go for game or just wipe them down further. So, very strong together. Borsalino does go real hard, even just double Borsalino. Gain 2 life, gain 2 blockers. This can be enough to really help you into the mirror as well. So I think Borsalino is a strong mirror card. I do think he does have a place. He's one that I am going to put in my final list, I think. We are seeing It'll Frighten Me in the list as well. So I don't know if this is because they've seen my videos or they've found it themselves, but I'm not alone with It'll Frighten Me. I think it is a strong card, and in particular into that Yamato matchup, just locking enough bodies down that you can survive another turn and hit them with the clap back. We do have, this is another one that you don't see too often. Let me move my face for a second. Alright, so this one here, Black Rope Dragon Twister, 6 cost, Main, you may turn one of your cards from the top of your life cards face up. If the number of your characters is less than the number of your opponent's characters, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less, and up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. This is I think for the green blue Luffy as well. Just taking out 2 cards there, you know, you can take out the buggy and the prisoner in that one hit. Very, very strong. I mean, very, very strong. Like, you can't deny that. It's got a trigger effect. Draw 2 cards, trash 1 card from your hand. So got the trigger as well. I do think this is a strong one. And as you can see, the win rate is very high with 126 games as well. This is pretty good. We do have some funny ones here. We've got Lilith. I don't particularly agree with Lilith. I think what we really want, like, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal a card with the trigger. You'd think that's perfect for this deck, but when we want to have these 10 cost each dropping, it doesn't help. Like, when we want this 10 cost each as the main one, this doesn't help. And if you turn over 4 and you've got 2 of these in there, your game is pretty ruined from that point on. Yeah, so I don't know. I've veered away from Lilith altogether, but you know, if you're running a lot of these, I guess it sort of works. So I don't know. Up to you guys if you run Lilith. Let me know in the comments if you do. All right, another one that I haven't seen running a lot of lists is Alvio Bizarro. He is a 2k counter as well. On KO, draw 1 card, then play up to 1 full lead from your hand or trash. So I don't know. I don't think this is particularly good. I mean, it replaces itself. It's another one of those ones that replaces itself just to play the full lead. I don't think it's worth it. I think particularly we have lots of opportunities at the start of the game to play full lead. If I've got it in my hand, I'm just going to play full lead over this card anyway. I'd rather have the 2k in my hand, is where I'm at. I mean, yes, it is something you can redirect into, but you know, you redirect into this, you can't use full lead until the turn after anyway. So basically, it's only good if full lead is in your trash. How does full lead get into your trash? Well, you're probably using my age. If you wanted it that bad, you just pick it up anyway. I don't really think there's any other way it's getting to our trash unless we willingly discard it. I just don't see a use case for Alvio, but I mean, 61.9% win rate, doing well, so maybe I need to try it out. Let's see, I think there might be 1 or 2 other tech cards in here. Flame Split, yep, give up to one of your leader or characters 1000 power for the turn. After this, if your opponent has 2 life or less, rest up to one of the 4 cost or lower characters. It's a counter as well as a main, so it does allow you to push through. Kind of cool there. I don't know which real decks this is being teched in for though, so I can't really comment on this. It's not a bad card. I'm not gonna judge anyone for it. It's got a trigger ability, so we can use it to discard anyway. So yeah, few decks running 3 of the Zihahas. I need to say that as well. 3 Zihahas in a couple of them. I've been running a lot of the yellow black vortex as opposed to 3 of these, finding that the yellow black vortex can bring out a Zihaha anyway and play that out. Yes, it costs an extra Don, but it gives me the versatility of grabbing out something else like a teach like this, or you know, any other card with a trigger. It doesn't even have to be a Blackbeard. We could grab It'll Frighten Me from the trash to play out an extra one of those. Whatever it is, that card will be accessible if we've got a yellow black vortex. I think that's all the sort of tech cards I want to talk about. There is one here, Shiryu here, and this is a high win rate deck, so we can't gloss over this one. On opponent's turn, this character gains extra 2000 power, 7000 power body, which means, you know, great to redirect into. Activate main once per turn. If this is the turn this card was played, and your leader is a Blackbeard type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 3 or less. So this is really good into, once again, that green-blue Luffy. And, you know, being able to hit, because I've seen there's a Mr. 3 Galdino, the green one is a 3 cost, and that just pumps up Don onto the opponent's other characters, which is super effective on that last turn when they want to restand. A pump up there is devastating, and they usually pump before then anyway. It is a very strong card. So here we are. Here's where Teach is at the moment. These are better win rates that we're seeing here. So I think to be at 65%, they've really flipped it, and they're doing well into the harder to win matches. This is where we're going with the video. They're doing better with those matches that are under 45% win rate. So let's flip back again for a sec. Alright, so back in the Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, as I was saying, the decks that are below 45%, so these ones here, I think we're going to be doing better, a little bit better with some of these other tech cards like that Shiyu we just saw. Those ones with the 65% win rate, they've got to be doing something here, which is either doing better into these decks, or they've improved their going first curve. And that'll, you know, as I said at the start, if you've got 70% win rate on going second, and no, I said 80% going second and 30% going first, if you're able to bump up that, you know, going first curve to a win rate of 40%, then all of a sudden you've got 40 plus 80 ends up being 120, half of that, 60%. Now we're going into that higher win rate territory. So they've got to be doing something like that, where they're really bumping up that curve going first, I think, to be increasing that. And, you know, think about also as a whole, we're going to see a lot more of this UG Luffy than we will see of this OP09 buggy. There's a lot more games into this. So if, you know, every second game is this game here, then we're going to be losing half of those games. Let's say we win the other half, or we are on that 70% win rate for the other half, 30% win rate for this one, like, and we divide that by 2. Then all of a sudden we're at like, what, 35% for the ones that we go first, plus this one here, we're sort of at that like 50% win rate if we have that sort of combination. So I think the math is right there, but yeah, it's going to significantly drop us. So if we can increase the win rate into, say, just this one, our overall win rate is going to go up a lot higher. And this is what I think a lot of the decks have done, is they're focused on, let's not focus on Sengoku, let's just focus on Luffy. Luffy and Yamato are treated differently. So it's like, if there's more Luffy, if Luffy's in that top 4, let's focus on the Luffy over the Yamato and make sure we get this one right. We get a good tech into this to win more. And then if we just keep going with the other ones, which we have good win rates into, we're going to do very well. So I think that is sort of a good strategy to take on the meta. And yeah, let's have a look at the deck list that we're going to use today again. All right, so here's the deck list that we've got for today. Yeah, as you could see, very, very diverse here. There's a lot that I do want to change with this deck list. I think Burgess is good. I don't think we need that many of him. Happy to sort of find him eventually. He has been really clutch when I can play him on the turn 2, going second. Really, really strong. So maybe 3 is the right number. I definitely want to have a Black Vortex in him, like more than one. I think we want 2, realistically. Happy with the 1 boa. Happy with 2 wipers. Happy with this sort of here as well. Where I think we drop off at the moment, I think I'd probably drop one of these for a Black Vortex. And that would have me really happy with this list. It then doesn't include Nami, so I don't know. Do we need Nami? I mean, I said I'm gonna convince you guys that we need it. I think we can play this slightly different, that we don't use her. I do like the pressure that she applies though. So I'm still going to tinker around. I still would like to get Nami in there. And I'm going to play around with some other lists. And I'll bring those videos to you soon. For today, we're just running this list just so you can see how a different style of deck is played. Let's jump into these games because I've talked long enough now. So let's check out game 1. Can't even remember what it's into. Let's just sit back and enjoy it. Alright, here we go. We've got a mirror, and I mean, we should take second. Yeah, we'll keep that. Alright, full lead. This is very mirror-y right now. What do we want to get rid of? Katarina? Yeah, Katarina. Grab this. Definitely go for this, and pulling out a 2k. Sort of replaces the Katarina we lost, and we've loaded up our trash. If we, what we want to do is find the Burgess this turn. So let's take this. Trigger it. The more the merrier. Not finding what we need here. Alright, there is a Burgess, so we grab that. Gonna attack in, not this Burgess, we want this one. And drop this one down. We've already stacked our we've already, too much magic. We've already stacked our trash here. And yeah, got the 1+1 here, so 2 more, that's a 7k. So next turn we should be attacking 7. We might do a redirect here, we'll see what happens. I mean, no blocker, we'll counteract that though. And we could redirect into here. Make it big. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Let's just, no blocker, 2k out of that. Okay. Very mighty. Let's do this. Find another one of these. I mean, I've already passed up on one of these, so maybe we should grab the second one. But then we're going to have a horrible turn. Let's just grab another one of these. I think that's what we do. 6, I mean, 7k attack looks good to me. Maybe I should have gone for the Borsalino. I think they'll redirect in here. No trigger. Another 7. Okay, nothing to rest, but they get the cycle. Drop this one down. Alright, so we need 3 cards in here to bump this up. I do wonder if this is a target or not. And right now we're damaging their life pretty well, even though we're really off our usual curve. Alright, this is a tech card. Black Rope Dragon Twister. If the number of characters is less than the number of your opponent's characters, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. We can't be KO'd, so that doesn't work. And yeah, this at face, interesting. I'm going to counter out. I want to keep as much life as I can right now. Use this one. Use this one. And one more card, and we're pretty mighty. Should I go? Nah, I'm just going to A third one? Should we do that? Should we drop a third one? You're pretty crazy, right? Let's make them big. Shiryu, I guess. Alright, we're definitely dropping the 8 here. So let's start off with 5 at face. They don't want to take these. Something is going to get redirected. And I'm guessing that they want to, as long as this isn't the 8 cost here. No, it is not. They've got to redirect into here. Yeah, we lose one. And then we play down one to gain that life back. And it's the 8 cost. It's the 8 cost. Too good. So they're going to lose one of their Burgesses here. We could take out this one so we don't lose a life. But that said, this is harder to KO. I think we just go for one of these perhaps. We'll see how it all plays out. Because next turn we can drop this one down and then attack into the board. So I can apply the negate effect to one of these two and then attack into it freely anyway. So negating this brings it back to a 5. Negating this means it doesn't get the on KO effect. Both really good targets. We'll see what they've got lined up for us here. 7 at face. I mean, what if they've got the boa? What if they've got the boa? I think I'm gonna take this one. And we take out that one. Then this is too small to attack into the board. So we still got to redirect. They use a boa and we're in trouble actually. No, we still got the counter. We're fine. We're fine here. If they do boa, I think boa's their best out here. If they do boa, they gain a life. We don't have a Zihaha to take it. But we got these powerhouses. So we should be able to just charge through their life, in all honesty. No. We take this one. No, we don't take this one. $11 into this. 8, 2 and 1, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I think we're fine. We redirect this one. So even if they load up here, okay. I'm not going to take that. I guess they're going to shear you down. And then we know what they're putting up to the top. Arrester. If we can find a Zihaha. If we can find a Zihaha, we're going to use this card. I mean, that's game, right? That is game. Yep. I mean, like, that's pretty good, but they're still done. They are still done here. Can't redirect. They've got this 9k coming at face. Oh yeah, yep. We hit the mark. 9k at face. They have to take. They wipe out this one. 10k at face. They lose the game. Still would have had a 7. So, I mean, it's a straightforward one. Let's check out the next game. Alright. Yellow Luffy. I guess our plan here is just control the board, build up once we got a couple of teachers on the board, then we start hitting the life. Happy to give them life in the interim. But yeah, we need to, and like the idea is they want to trigger from their life. We use our cards like the, well, in this deck, we've only really got the one. We just use Zihaha to take away that life, so they can't trigger it. No searches, so mulligan. No searches. We do have 2 Zihahas, so that's kind of good. Still no searches. Nothing we can do this turn. Yeah, this is like, what, 66% win rate off over 100 games. Doing very well with this deck, but the lack of searches is just not good. Not good at all. Can't even trigger anything. Still getting hammered here. Let's just attack in light. Hopefully, I mean, they're going to take it for sure. Why wouldn't they? No body, that's good. Alright, get this on down. Start the process with this card. Okay. Okay. We do have to defend that. Alright, we're well out of sync here. I could use this. I mean, discard. We don't have a 1k to discard to get the Devon effect. So I think I'm better off. The other thing I can do here is just Borsalino. Borsalino might be a little bit better. Just a little bit better. So let's attack 5. I don't think I can attack with this either. They're just getting a little bit too big here. This is not going to plan, and it's mostly because we don't have the searches. I guess we just drop the Shiryu. I'm debating whether it's this or this, but at least with this one we've got a bigger body we can redirect into. Maybe this on the turn after if we get desperate. And yeah, maybe I'll put up the wolf here, just for some sustainability. I mean, that was a good outcome. How about this? I will put down Borsalino. I'll put down Borsalino. I can always redirect in here. This will take a life here. If it triggers something, we made a terrible decision. Okay, that's great. That is more than great. And enter. So essentially what we've got here is I've got a redirect, and I can always block out with Borsalino if I have to. The redirect will go at face, so I'll get some sort of trigger. They attack here first. We do the redirect first. Let's get rid of. I'm almost tempted to play this one next turn to get the wolf out. I'm going to use the wolf now because I want him in the trash anyway. And we'll use trigger to get a bunch more cards. Okay. Alright, so they're just going to play out something small then. So we can block and then use a Devon. And this has now bumped this one up a bit, so that's good. Alright, another life. Another life. Okay, so once we get to this top end, we're looking alright again. We're starting to look alright again, do we play this card, get the wolf to the top? I'm considering knocking this thing out. Maybe we just get this one down. Let's see what this does. Okay, they take. Do I want to attack in? I'm going to take a beating if I do. We're only at 4. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's find out what's at the top. A robin. Okay. Good to know. That is actually very good to know. Let's do this one. I guess the wolf will do that. Would like this card, but it's a little bit late now. Okay, so we're going to clear 2 away. We still need to hit them 4 more times, and that's provided that they don't do anything like a robin or another heal. I don't know how many kinds of heal they've got. Okay. That shut down that plan. 6 at face. I think we just take this one. Boa. Do we want to trigger this? Wait, no, it's 6k, right? 6k. I could go in here, get the wolf and redirect into the wolf, then become a 7, and that'll shut down some attacks. Or I just play the boa. I think we just need the body on the field. We could do this. It doesn't do anything. Let's do the wolf. And this is our redirect material. The other part of me just wants to hit back into their board though. Okay, 5 at face. We block this one. And this was played this turn, right? Pretty sure. Which means I've only got 1 more attack. Okay, they choose not to. Alright. We're looking pretty good. We are looking very good here. We stop this attack, and next turn we might nullify this one. So 6. I'm just going to go light with this one, just because I don't have much. They're likely to take. Should have hit into this actually. We're going to take that. I attack in here. I'm going to do like this. I would like this one to go. We're not going to hit life again. Except for with this effect. Okay, they let it go. Maybe we are going to hit life again then. They gotta stop one, right? I should have added a Don on that too. Yeah, definitely should have. So this one gets blocked, or the life gets taken. Blocked. Okay, that's better for us. Should we take a life? Can we survive if we do that? They could have unblockable. We've got a redirect, a block, redirect block. I mean, we should be able to survive it, realistically, unless they trigger something out. No, we don't do it. We don't do it. We go into this. Opponent takes a life, and then we shut down this one here because it's useless, and I want to shut one of these down next turn and attack into it. Depending what they do. If they drop like a Bonnie, I mean, we just have to shut that down, and I think it's going to be a Bonnie. By the look of that, it looks like a Bonnie. 6k, 6k. I think I just redirect right now into this. Now it shuts these down. If they're going to play the Bonnie, they can't attack with these. Maybe I should have waited, but we'll find out. Oh, teach. Alright, do I want to shut down teach? Do I want to shut down teach? 6 into 7. Whoops. Because we just lost this one. So I guess they were planning to attack this before. And once the wolf went down to the trash, this bumped up. So interesting there. Interesting. We could give them another life. It's a little bit dangerous, but we could do it. I think we're better off clearing the board than leaving it there. Let's start light again. Let's see what they trigger out. I mean, ooh, this was a mistake. I shouldn't have given them this trigger. This was one of the top 3. Okay. That's not the worst. We are going to cop a pounding next turn, though. We are going to cop a pounding. So let's do one more at face here, because they can't trigger anything out unless they replace. And then I attack into this one. I attack into this. They gain a life. Or do I shut it down first? I'm just trying to work out what I should shut down here. I think we let this run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks in. 1 block, 2 block, 3 block. A life and a redirect. I should be okay, realistically. But then I should also be okay if I let this go through. And then we're one step closer to just wiping them next turn. They'll need to go defensive instead. Okay, that was a good trigger for them. Let's wipe one more away. I mean, we could try and push right now. I mean, if we pushed, we would have lost. So, good thing we didn't push. Anyway, I think looking at this situation, they go into their next turn, right? They've got an unblockable that they can use, and we are very well aware that they have an unblockable. We are definitely saving our redirect for this unblockable. We have a life, and this life would have just killed one of them. So that's pretty crazy. The life would have killed one, and then we would have had a life, a kill, a block, a block, a block, and a redirect. We would have been fine. If this wasn't the trigger card though, we still have here 5k encounter. So we should have been able to get out of one of these smaller attacks. Like they've got 10 Don. Let's say they put 2 Don on each. Even if they put 3 Don on each, or made them all 7s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 Don. They're all 7s at that stage. 3 more can become 8Ks, and even of those 8Ks, we can still defend one of them, and that's all we need to do. So we were getting out of the next turn fine. They probably needed to do a heal. This would have been the best card that they could play. And then loading the top, I mean, it's not going to help them terribly. We're getting this one next turn anyway. Yeah, we definitely had this game. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, look after yourselves and look after your decks.